What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's feeling good. Hope everybody's doing well. Guys, we are back with an update. Oh man. So if you don't remember this story. This story was about a man who he was drugged by his wife, guys. His ex-wife. Let me get that right. His ex-wife. She really wanted to cheat on him. So she drugged him, guys. She gave him sleeping medicine, put this man to sleep, and went out and cheated and got caught. Who knows how many times this woman did this? It's ridiculous. Guys, if you do not remember that story, I'm going to play it first. If you know exactly what I'm talking about, go down to the description, click update. It'll take you straight to his update. Oh, this woman's nuts. Let's get into it. What in the world? Dude, she should go to jail for that.
Subject: She drugged me so she could cheat. I have no words. Hey, True. First off, I just want to say thank you for giving men like me a place to speak. I've watched your channel for a while now, and I never thought I'd be writing in. But after everything I've gone through, I feel like I need to get this off my chest. My name is Henry. I'm a 36-year-old man from Kentucky, and this is the story of how my now ex-wife Liz betrayed me in a way I still can't fully process. What she did to me, it's something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Let me get straight to the point. Liz drugged me. Not metaphorically, not emotionally. I mean, she literally put something in my food so she could sneak out and cheat on me behind my back. Yeah, let that sink in. This all happened during the tail end of our 6-year marriage. We'd been together for about 8 years total. Things were rocky for a while, and for about a week leading up to this event, we had been arguing constantly. The topic: a girls' night out she was insisting on having with her friends. I told her flat out no. Call me controlling if you want, but I've always believed that if a woman is out here needing to go party, drink, and hang out with her single friends till all hours of the night, then maybe she needs to be single. I married Liz thinking she was different. A wife, not a party girl, but lately it felt like she was slowly morphing into someone else, someone I didn't sign up for. She pushed back hard. It's just a few drinks. You don't trust me. You're suffocating me. Yeah, sure. I don't trust a married woman trying to hit the town in heels with her single friends every weekend. Sue me. So, after yet another heated argument, I thought we reached a compromise. She made dinner that night, chicken Alfredo with a side of garlic bread, and told me we could talk more calmly after we ate. I didn't think anything of it at the time. Around 6 p.m., I sat down, ate my dinner, and by 6:30, I swear, I could barely keep my eyes open. I remember the sensation vividly. It hit like a truck. One minute I was sitting on the couch flipping through channels, and the next I felt like I had just taken 5 melatonin pills with a bottle of wine. My body was heavy. My eyelids weighed 1,000 pounds. I remember her tucking a blanket over me and kissing my forehead. Just rest, baby, she whispered. Then black. I woke up around midnight. It was one of those slow wake-ups. Disoriented, foggy. My mouth was dry, my head was spinning. I reached for my phone and saw the time. 12:04 a.m. I sat up and realized instantly that Liz wasn't home. I called her, no answer. I texted, no response. That's when something inside me broke. I knew, right then, something wasn't right. And it hit me like a hammer. She drugged me. That thought led to another. What is she hiding? I grabbed her laptop. She'd left it open on the kitchen counter. I remembered her Facebook password from a few months back when she asked me to help reset it. She never changed it. I logged in. Man, I wish I hadn't. She had been messaging a guy named Mitch, some local dude who clearly didn't care that Liz was married because her profile still said married to Henry. They'd been talking for weeks, flirting, sexting, planning nights to sneak away like some high school affair. And wouldn't you know it, That very night, they planned to meet up at a bar to play pool. Yeah, right. And they weren't even subtle about it. She wrote, and I quote, "I've got it all handled. He'll be out like a light. I'll see you at Rondo's." He replied, "Can't wait. I want to feel those hips against me again." My heart dropped into my stomach. This was the woman I married, the woman I built a life with, and she was out here plotting with some random dude to cheat on me under my nose and using sedatives to get me out of the way. I kept reading. They talked about how boring I was, how I never wanted to have fun, how she missed real excitement. Mitch joked that I probably wore pajamas to bed at 9 p.m. She laughed. I stared at the screen, shaking, heart pounding. Then I saw it. He sent her the address. Rondo's Sports Bar. 10 minutes from the house. I called my friend Jake, someone I trust with my life, and told him everything. He showed up in 15 minutes. I was still groggy but fuming. We drove to Rondo's. The whole ride there, I was quiet, just staring out the window, replaying everything I read, seeing the messages in my head like they were burned into my brain. When we walked in, I didn't even need to look. I felt her. And there she was, by the pool tables, laughing, sitting on Mitch's lap, his hands on her hips, her hand on his chest. My wife. The woman who kissed me on the forehead while I fell asleep from something she slipped into my food, now grinding on some clown at a bar like a cheap date. I didn't even hesitate. I stormed over, grabbed her by the arm, and yanked her up. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. Her face went pale. Mitch stood up and held his hands up like a coward. "Hey man, take it easy," he said, voice shaking. He knew. He knew I wasn't there to talk. I dragged Liz outside. She started screaming at me, calling me crazy, asking what the hell I was doing. "What am I doing?" I yelled. "What the hell are you doing, Liz? Drugging me? Sneaking out? Letting some bum touch you like that?" A couple of guys near the door stepped forward. They thought I was hurting her. I wasn't. I never laid a hand on her besides grabbing her wrist, but it didn't matter. One of them said, "Yo, bro, back off. She said she don't want to go with you." Then Mitch came out with that smug grin. He looked at me and said, "Nah, fellas, it's all good. He's just mad I've been banging his wife. Hey, Henry, nice bed set, by the way." For 1 second, I swear to you, if I had brought my weapon, it could have gone bad, real bad, but I didn't. I took a breath, looked at my friend, and we walked away. Best decision I ever made. The next day, I called a lawyer, told them everything, and the process began. So yeah, after that night at Rondo's, I knew there was no going back, no fixing it, no talking it out. I had my proof. I had my pride, barely hanging on, but I had it. And I had enough energy to do what needed to be done. I got in touch with a divorce attorney the very next morning. His name was Marcus, a no-nonsense guy in his 50s with over 2 decades in family law. He didn't sugarcoat anything, which I appreciated. I showed him the Facebook messages. I told him about the food, the sudden sleepiness, and Liz admitting to Mitch that I'd be out like a light. Marcus shook his head and said, "Son, if we play this smart, she just handed you the keys to the courtroom." I remember sitting in his office while he explained how the process would work. He warned me that it wouldn't be quick. Even with all the dirt I had on her, we still had to go through filings, discovery, hearings, and, God forbid, a trial if she tried to contest anything. But I told him right then and there, I'm not staying married to a woman who drugged me and let some dude defile our bed. I don't care what it costs. I'm done. A week later, Liz got served at work. I asked Marcus to time it that way. I wanted it to sting. I wanted her to be embarrassed. I wanted her to feel something for once. I knew she worked mornings at the front desk of a dental office. The server walked in, called her name, and handed her the envelope right in front of her coworkers and her manager. According to someone I know who works there, she burst into tears and locked herself in the bathroom. Good. She didn't text me for a couple days after that. Then the messages started coming in. First, it was denial. Why are you doing this? We can work this out. I made a mistake. Then guilt tripping. You're really going to throw everything away over one night? You're being dramatic. Then came the bombshell. Okay, I slept with him. Yes, in our bed. I'm sorry. I needed something different for one night. I know what I did was wrong. Yes, I put something in your dinner. Just melatonin and a bit of Benadryl. I panicked. You wouldn't let me go. I just wanted to see my friends. You made me feel like a prisoner. I remember staring at those texts for over an hour, letting them sink in. She really tried to justify what she did as a reaction to my controlling behavior. No, she wasn't reacting. She was planning. She plotted to knock me out like I was some guard she needed to sneak past in a heist movie, and all to hook up with a guy she'd been messaging for weeks, probably longer. Marcus printed out those texts and added them to our evidence folder. He smiled and said, "She just buried herself." From there, the court process began. Depositions, hearings, financial disclosures. It was exhausting, but I pushed through. Liz tried to paint herself as the victim, told the judge I was emotionally abusive, said I controlled her, and cut her off from her friends. But the judge wasn't buying it. He read through the text messages, saw the timestamps, the admissions, the Facebook screenshots, her plan to drug me, her own words about meeting up with Mitch, how she mocked me online, and how she flat out confessed in a text message that she cheated and drugged me just to make it happen. It didn't look good for her at all. My lawyer even had a toxicologist friend testify briefly to explain that melatonin and Benadryl in high doses or combined can absolutely knock a person out within 30 to 60 minutes, especially if mixed with food. The judge's face said it all. Liz didn't get alimony, didn't get the house. She walked away with her clothes, her car, and a shattered reputation. And that's being generous. The divorce was finalized 3 months after I filed. Fastest legal victory of my life. You'd think that'd be the end of it, right? Wrong. Liz didn't just fade away. She came crawling back. First, it was an email, then a call, then a handwritten letter left at my front door. She begged. She pleaded. She claimed she was in therapy, said it was just a phase, said she wasn't thinking clearly, said Mitch meant nothing, and it was really just about feeling ignored. She even offered to get remarried, said she'd sign a prenup, said she'd change. I blocked her. A week later, I caught her sitting in her car down the street from my house, just watching. I ignored her. 2 days after that, she left a gift bag on my porch. Inside was a framed photo of us from our honeymoon and a note that read, "I still believe in us. Please don't give up on what we had." What we had died the moment she put that crap in my food. I called the cops not to press charges, but just to document it. I wanted a paper trail in case she kept showing up. They talked to her. She left. So far, she hasn't come back. I'll be real with you. I went through a dark stretch after all this. I felt stupid, violated, weak. I started questioning everything. Did she ever love me? Was it all fake? Was I just a safe place for her until she got bored? The hardest part wasn't even the betrayal. It was how calculated it all was. She didn't just cheat. She prepared for it, planned it, chose it over and over. And when I caught her, her first instinct wasn't remorse. It was to make me the bad guy. But slowly, I've been rebuilding. I got rid of the bed for starters, threw it in the dump where it belonged, repainted the bedroom, donated all the wedding photos, got a gym membership, started hiking again. I even reconnected with a couple of friends I had lost touch with during my marriage, guys Liz used to say were bad influences just because they didn't worship the ground she walked on. Life is quieter now, lonelier sometimes, but peaceful. And I'll take peace over chaos every time. I don't know what Liz is doing now. I don't care. Maybe she's still chasing guys like Mitch who think making a joke about sleeping in another man's bed is funny. Maybe she's crying into a bottle. Maybe she's finally facing her demons, but I'm free. And that's all I need. Thanks for reading this. If you do decide to share it on your channel, feel free to change my name if needed. I'm not looking for fame. I just needed someone to hear the truth. I needed to speak it. Because for too long I kept silent while someone else tried to make me feel crazy. But I know what I saw. I know what she did. And I survived it. Again, it's Henry. I'm writing you this follow-up email. I see you didn't read my story about Liz, my now ex-wife who drugged my dinner so she could sneak out and cheat with a guy named Mitch. First off, I want to say thank you. The stories you put out every day are amazing. I didn't write it for sympathy, and I surely am not trying to go viral. I just needed to speak my truth. Hopefully you get to it, but you can also add this if you'd like. Anyway, I figured I'd give you an update on how life's been since the divorce finalized. It's been a ride, not an easy one, but a necessary one. After the divorce, I thought I'd immediately feel free. I expected this huge weight to lift, like a man finally getting out of a burning building. But it wasn't like that. Freedom isn't instant. It comes in stages. First, there's shock, then silence, then grief, then, somewhere down the road, healing. I started going to therapy, not because I was falling apart, but because I realized I had spent years with someone who made me question reality, and I needed to start learning how to trust myself again. My therapist, a guy named Joel, asked me one of the toughest questions right out of the gate. When did you stop saying no in your marriage? That one hit hard. Because the truth is, long before Liz drugged me and disrespected me, I had already started compromising who I was. I'd say no, and then I'd let her wear me down. I'd try to have boundaries, and she'd guilt trip me until I gave in. And every time I let her cross a line, I taught her that my lines didn't matter. That's on me. I don't blame myself for what she did, but I do take accountability for letting things slide for as long as I did. I ignored red flags because I wanted peace. But peace bought with silence isn't real. It's just the pause before the explosion. Now I'm learning how to protect my peace the right way. I got rid of everything that reminded me of her. That bed, gone. The wedding photos, shredded. Our shared Spotify playlists, deleted. It was all part of reclaiming my space. I repainted the bedroom. New sheets, new mattress, new vibe. I even changed out the dishes because every time I looked at our dinner plates, I remembered what she put in my food. Funny how something as simple as a plate can bring back a trauma flash. I started hiking again, something I gave up when I was married because Liz said nature was boring. I've been hitting the local trails every weekend. It's quiet out there, peaceful, and more importantly, it's mine, my space, my choice. I reconnected with my brother too. He was one of the people Liz didn't like, called him toxic, because he once pulled me aside and said, "Dude, she's not good for you." At the time, I defended her. Now, I called him and said, "You were right. We've been grabbing dinner every other Friday, and I'll tell you, it feels good to laugh again with someone who knows me before all the chaos." But, of course, Liz wasn't done. I thought I'd blocked her on everything. I changed my number, shut down my Facebook, nuked the old email she had, but she found a way. One night I came home from work and found an envelope taped to my front door. Inside was a letter. 4 pages, handwritten. The first line read, "I still don't believe we're over." She went on about how she'd been doing work on herself, said she'd been reading books on accountability, said she finally understood what she did to me and that she was so sorry, said she wasn't seeing Mitch anymore, that he was a mistake born from confusion. Then she dropped this. "I know we might not ever be husband and wife again, but can we at least be in each other's lives? Maybe even friends. I didn't respond. I won't respond. Because I have learned something since all of this went down. Closure doesn't come from the person who hurt you. It comes when you finally accept that you deserve better than what they gave you. She didn't reach out because she loves me. She reached out because her other options dried up. Her fantasy life fell apart. Mitch probably ghosted her. Reality hit her hard. And now she's doing what manipulators always do when they feel alone. They crawl back to what once worked. But I'm not that man anymore. You only get to burn me once. I left her letter in the sink, poured water on it, and watched the ink smear into nothing. Therapeutic in a weird way, almost symbolic. I also learned that Mitch has a reputation around town. Apparently, Liz wasn't his first married woman. He's known for targeting vulnerable women with issues at home. Probably thought he was slick, but eventually, guys like him run out of new thrills. And women like Liz, who chase excitement over stability, end up alone with a trail of destruction behind them. Here's the crazy part. Even now, months later, I sometimes still catch myself thinking, was I too harsh? Should I have tried harder? But that's trauma talking. That's what happens when you spend years with someone who twists everything into being your fault. You start doubting yourself, even when the truth is staring you in the face. So I remind myself what she did. She drugged me. She let another man into our home, into our bed. She laughed about it. She mocked me online. She confessed not out of remorse, but because she got caught. That's not a partner. That's a predator. I've made a list, on paper, of all the reasons I left. Every time I start feeling weak or nostalgic, I pull it out and read it. It grounds me, keeps me sharp, reminds me that I didn't walk away from love. I walked away from abuse. These days, I'm learning how to be by myself. Not lonely, just solo. There's power in that. I'm not rushing into dating. I'm not swiping on apps. I'm just living, breathing, healing. Do I hope to meet someone eventually? Sure, but I'm in no rush because I know now what I didn't know before. You can't build something real with someone who wears a mask. And more importantly, you have to take care of your own wounds before inviting someone else into your heart. Thanks for reading this. I know it's long, but you're one of the few people I feel like I can talk to without being judged or dismissed. If you share this on your channel, go ahead. Maybe someone out there needs to hear it. Maybe some guy sitting in a dark room staring at a betrayal he never saw coming needs to know he's not crazy. He's not weak. He's just waking up, and freedom starts there.
I'm glad you divorced her, man. She wanted to go see Mitch that bad. That bad. I need this D so bad that I'm going to put you to sleep. I wonder how many times she's actually done that before, right? This is probably her thing. She's been doing this for a while, dude. You remember any other times you got super sleepy after eating her dinner? Oh my gosh. Salute to you, man. I'm glad you're doing good. Thanks for the follow-up email. Salute to you, man. Guys, lesson learned. You be the cook. Don't let her cook. Don't let her cook your food, man. Oh my gosh. Guys, if you want to make a comment on this story, you want to reply to this story, jump to the comments. If you'd like to send in a story yourself, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. Here, I'll put it on the screen. That is truestorynation@gmail.com. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one.
Subject: Update from Henry. The restraining order and Liz's spiral. Hey again, it's Henry. This will probably be the last update I send you unless something even crazier happens, which, honestly, I hope it doesn't. I didn't expect to be writing again, but after the last few months, I feel like I need to document this chapter just like I did the others. If anything, to get it out of my system. and maybe help another man who ends up dealing with the kind of woman who won't let go even after it's over. You remember how in my last email I told you Liz left a handwritten letter on my front door? How she said she wanted to be friends and that she was working on herself? Well, turns out that was just the beginning of her unraveling. Because the moment I ignored that letter, she decided that if she couldn't have my attention the nice way, she'd take the chaotic route. What follows are three incidents that led me straight to the police station and eventually the courthouse, where I had to file for a restraining order against her. Let's break it down. Incident 1. The chance encounter at the grocery store. It started innocent enough, or so I thought. It was a random Wednesday evening and I stopped by the grocery store after work. Just wanted to pick up a few things. Chicken breast, some veggies, and a six-pack. I had my earbuds in, just zoning out in my own world when I saw her. Liz, standing in the frozen food aisle like she'd been waiting for me. She had on this little sundress I'd seen her wear before, something I bought her a couple summers ago. It felt weird seeing her in it now, like she was trying to rewind time or play some kind of twisted memory game. I pulled my earbuds out, and before I could say anything, she goes, "Oh my God, Henry, I didn't know you shopped here." I just stood there, stunned. I've been shopping at that store for 6 years. She knows that. We used to go there together, so unless she lost her memory, she knew exactly what she was doing. I tried to keep it calm, told her I was in a rush, didn't have time to talk, but she wasn't having it. She followed me down 3 aisles. I'd grab something. She'd comment on it. "You still eat that granola? Thought you were trying to cut sugar. Still getting that brand of wine? That was our favorite, remember?" At one point, she even reached into my cart and touched my hand, like nothing had happened. I turned and said, "Liz, leave me alone, seriously." She pouted like I'd just ruined a date. Said something about how we used to laugh in this store and how she missed being close. I left the cart right there in the middle of the aisle and walked out. She didn't follow me, but when I got home, there it was, a text. "It was so good seeing you today. You looked really handsome. I think we're both pretending we don't still feel something. Let's not lie to ourselves." That was the night I blocked her on the new number, but it didn't stop there. Incident 2. The creepy package. About 2 weeks after the grocery store mess, I came home from work to find a box sitting on my porch. No return label, just my name written in black marker. Now look, I'm not a paranoid guy, but this gave me a weird feeling right away. The handwriting looked familiar. My gut was already telling me what I didn't want to believe. I took the box inside, put on gloves, and opened it real carefully. Inside were 4 things. A framed picture of me and Liz from our honeymoon in Charleston. A pair of my old socks that had gone missing months ago. A copy of a book we used to read together, The 5 Love Languages, with highlighted pages and sticky notes saying stuff like, "This is so us." And a pair of used underwear. I felt my stomach turn. There was also a note tucked under the picture frame. It said, "This is everything you've thrown away, but I'm still here, and I still know you better than anyone else ever will." At this point, I was done playing it cool. I took pictures of everything, didn't touch a thing beyond what I had to. I drove straight to the local police station with the box in my back seat. Told the officer at the front desk the whole story, from the drug dinner to the divorce to the creepy box on my porch. The officer didn't laugh, didn't say I was overreacting. He nodded slowly and said, "Yeah, man, you're going to want to start documenting everything. This isn't just emotional baggage. It's starting to look like stalking." He made a report and gave me a case number. Told me that if she came around again, I should call right away. Incident 3, the break-in attempt. The final straw came about 3 weeks after the package. It was a Friday night. I'd gone out for a drink with a friend and came home around 11 p.m. My neighbor, a retired Army guy named Steve, flagged me down as I was walking to my door. He looked tense. "Hey, Henry," he said. "You expecting any visitors tonight?" I told him no. He shook his head. "Around 9:30, I saw someone creeping around your side yard with a flashlight. Didn't recognize them, but I yelled and they bolted. I got a partial look. It was a woman. Shoulder-length hair. Maybe blonde or dirty blonde. Liz." Steve said he called out, "Hey!" and she froze, then ran toward the sidewalk and disappeared. I checked my security cameras, and wouldn't you know it, I caught her on the side of the house, wearing a hoodie and looking directly into my windows. She crouched down by my AC unit like she was trying to hide. I called the cops that same night. They came out, took the footage, and added it to my case file. The officer, a different one this time, said something I'll never forget. If this was the other way around, a man doing this to a woman, we'd already have a restraining order filed and probably be talking about jail time. That's when it hit me. I had been minimizing this whole thing, trying to be reasonable, trying to give her space to heal. But what she was doing wasn't love or heartbreak or closure. It was harassment, filing for the restraining order. I went down to the courthouse the next Monday and filled out the paperwork for a restraining order. It took 2 hours. I had to write a full statement and include the police reports, the pictures of the package, the grocery store incident, and the security footage from the attempted break-in. The judge reviewed everything and granted me a temporary emergency order that same day. Said I'd need to show up for a hearing in 2 weeks to make it permanent. When that day came, Liz actually showed up. She looked disheveled, wore all black, had this blank expression on her face like she didn't understand why she was even there. She told the judge she was just trying to reconnect and that I was blowing things out of proportion. But the evidence was overwhelming. The judge looked at the messages, the video, the package, the whole thing, and ruled in my favor. He granted a 2-year protection order. Liz can't come within 300 feet of me. Can't text, call, email, send gifts, or even contact me through a third party. And if she does, she goes straight to jail, where I'm at now. Honestly, I didn't think it would ever get to this point. When I first found out she cheated, I thought I'd hit the worst of it. Then she drugged me, and I thought, okay, this has to be the rock bottom. But even after the divorce, after all the court stuff, and her so-called apology, she kept coming, kept trying to force herself back into my life, like she couldn't accept that I chose myself over her madness. Some people don't want to heal. They just want control. And when they lose that, they lose their minds. I've upgraded all the locks on my house, got new cameras installed, took a concealed carry course, and got licensed. I don't live in fear, but I live prepared. Emotionally, I'm in a better place. Not great, but solid. I'm still in therapy. Still working on the parts of myself that allowed someone like Liz to be in my life for as long as she was. I haven't started dating yet, not seriously. I'm not ready, and I don't want to bring old wounds into something new. But for the first time in a long time, I'm okay being on my own. I'm learning that solitude isn't punishment. It's peace. And peace is something I won't trade again. Not for sex, not for love, not for anything that doesn't honor my soul. I know this was long, man. If you decide to share it, go ahead. I just hope it helps somebody out there see the warning signs before it's too late. Love doesn't stalk you. Love doesn't drug you. Love doesn't show up at your house in the dark, holding on to pieces of the past like they're weapons. Love lets you go when it's over. And if it doesn't, it was never love to begin with. But, true story, I'm not done yet. I truly didn't think she'd take it this far. After getting the restraining order, I figured she'd back off. I had evidence. I had the law on my side. Hell, I had the courts telling her to stay away from me. But apparently, Liz don't care about laws or consequences or common sense. Let me walk you through exactly how she violated the restraining order. 3 different incidents, each more insane than the last, and all of it leading up to her finally getting what she had coming. Incident 1: the parking lot setup. This happened maybe 2 weeks after the restraining order was granted. I was leaving work, walking across the parking lot to my car. I'd had a long day, nothing unusual, just trying to get to my car and go home. As I'm walking, I noticed this beat up gray sedan parked a few spaces away from mine. I didn't think much of it until I saw a head duck down behind the steering wheel. I'm not making this up. I saw a head drop like someone didn't want to be seen. I froze. Then the door opened, and there she was, Liz. She stepped out of the car like she was stepping onto a movie set. Sunglasses on, hair curled, fake smile on her face like nothing was wrong. She had a little Tupperware container in her hand, and she goes, "Henry, I brought your favorite, stuffed peppers. I know you still like them." I stood there stunned. My jaw literally dropped. All I said was, "You know there's a restraining order." She shrugged and said, "Yeah, but I figured food might change your mind." I didn't say another word. I walked straight back to the building, went to the security office, and told them to call the police. I even showed them the court documents. When the cops got there, Liz was sitting on the hood of her car, eating one of the damn peppers like nothing was happening. When they told her she was violating the order, she tried to argue. "But I'm his wife," she kept yelling. "I was just bringing him food." They didn't arrest her that time, just gave her a warning, told her not to come near me again, but I knew then this wasn't over. Incident 2: the house intrusion. The second incident was way worse. One night I came home from work and noticed the gate to my backyard was open. I never leave it open. I park in the garage, so I don't usually see the gate, but that night something felt off. I walked around back and froze. Liz was sitting on my back porch, no joke, wrapped in a blanket, with a damn candle lit next to her like she was having a vigil or something. She was rocking back and forth, humming, just staring at the sliding glass door like she was waiting for me to come outside. I didn't even open the door. I called the police right then and there. I spoke loud enough on the phone so she'd hear me say the words, "I have a restraining order and she is trespassing." She didn't even run. She sat there and looked at me through the glass like I was the one being unreasonable. When the police showed up, they tried to talk to her, and she told them, "This is my house too. I just needed to sit where I used to be happy." That time, they cited her again. Still no arrest, but they did tell her one more violation, and they'd have no choice. She looked at me, tears in her eyes, and whispered, "You're really doing this to me?" I didn't say a word. I just shut the door. Incident 3: the public scene. This was the final straw. I was out with some friends at a little bar on the other side of town, far from where Liz usually hangs out. We were just watching the game, having drinks. I hadn't told anyone where I was going, hadn't posted it, nothing. I don't even use social media anymore, but somehow she found me. I was at the bar laughing at something one of my buddies said when I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned, and there she was, eyes wide, smiling, like she'd just stumbled upon me by coincidence. "There you are," she said. I knew we'd run into each other again. I stood up immediately. My friends all stood too. Liz had this manic energy, like she'd been drinking, or maybe something stronger. She tried to hug me, but I stepped back. "You can't be here," I said. "You're not allowed near me." People around us started looking. The bartender came over. I told him loud enough for everyone to hear, "I have a restraining order against this woman." She freaked, started yelling, saying I was embarrassing her, that I was still in love with her and just pretending. She even grabbed my drink and threw it across the floor. That was it. Bartender called the cops. They showed up quick. This time, Liz resisted. Started crying, yelling, saying I set her up. The police didn't play around. They cuffed her right there in front of everyone. It was the most surreal moment of my life, seeing the woman I once thought I'd grow old with, getting dragged out of a bar, screaming like she was possessed. Aftermath and court. So yeah, she got arrested. Official charge: violation of a protective order. She spent 2 nights in jail before her bail hearing. I didn't go. I didn't respond to her one text begging me to drop it. My lawyer told me to hold the line, and I did. In court, she tried to play the victim, said she just missed me, that she wasn't a danger, but the judge wasn't having it. He looked at the 3 police reports, the violation details, and straight up told her she was lucky she wasn't facing more serious charges. He extended the restraining order. Full 2 years, no contact, no exceptions. After the hearing, her own mother came up to me in the hallway and apologized. Told me she didn't raise her daughter to be like this. Said she hoped I could find peace. I appreciated that. I really did. Final thoughts. So here I am, finally breathing a little easier. I can sleep without wondering if Liz is watching me from the bushes. I can go to work without looking over my shoulder. The damage she caused, emotionally, financially, mentally, it was deep. But I'm slowly healing. I'm going to therapy now, something I never thought I'd do. I'm learning how to process betrayal, rebuild trust, and forgive myself for ignoring red flags for so long. I'm also getting back into shape, reconnecting with friends, and focusing on my career. No dating for a while. I need to be whole before I let anyone into my life again. I wanted to share all this because I know someone else out there is dealing with a woman like Liz. And if my story can help even one man avoid what I went through, it's worth it. Thanks again for reading, brother. Appreciate everything you're doing. Keep giving men a voice. We need it more than people realize. Until next time, hopefully there won't be one. Henry.